At the time, I didn't like him, and people forget. It seemed like all the time they were talking about controversies. There was this Whitewater scandal with some sort of investors, and all kinds of dirty stuff that happened in Arkansas. And there was a lot of smoke. Like if you crossed the Clintons, you'd end up dead, kind of thing. And it just so happened that some of the people did end up dying under strange circumstances. I'm not saying the Clintons had anything to do with it. I'm not, no idea, but people put two and two together and they came up with that. The other thing is I think he was the benefactor of being the president at a good time in world history. The Berlin Wall had fallen, and there was a peace dividend. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the United States could lessen their military spending and focus more on inward things because that threat had been defeated because of Ronald Reagan and then George Bush. And Clinton lucked out being president at the right time, but he was smart enough to know what to do and stay in his lane. And he balanced the budget, the only president in our lifetimes that's balanced the budget. So that gives him some pretty high rankings when it comes to the Democrat president side.
And I think he was the founding member and president of the Epstein Vacation Club. Am I right? I guess that remains to be seen. Then we had another two-termer. President George W. Bush, 2001 to 2009. He was Texas governor. He was a baseball team owner. Do you remember what baseball team he owned, Mark?
Texas Rangers.
Correct. So he had those regular guy vibes. The good, he really rallied the U.S., and I think we can all remember him grabbing that megaphone, at least all of us who are old enough, and you've probably seen videos of it, saying they will all hear from us soon, when he was talking about the people that destroyed the towers, the terrorists. So strong leadership early in that crisis. Now, the bad part about that is the Iraq War was based on bad intel, which people don't really talk about a whole lot, but that was bad intel. He went after Saddam Hussein, which I think we can all agree wasn't the world leader of the year. But I think he went after the wrong guy at the very beginning instead of bin Laden. That happened later, but not through him. The Katrina response was viewed as weak. And his reputation, the Americans were divided. Foreign nations thought he acted before reading the instructions manual. What say you?
I liked him at the time, but going into Iraq and Afghanistan and having that drag on forever, and then you find out there wasn't any weapons of mass destruction, that's bad. And we ended up being in those countries for a long time. That's definitely going to be a factor in my rankings. I think he was a good man. He was a Christian man. I think everything that he did with the right intentions. Let's not forget, too, at the end of his final term, the economy tanked, and it was due to a banking situation. And I don't know if you can pin that on him, but it seemed at the time that things got pretty rough there at the end of Bush's term, and it seemed like he really didn't have any answers.